Takes more than guts to be a gangster. It takes good ideas, and I hope these ideas help you. Hey, what's up, guys? This is your mob boss, GangsterKT, and today we're going to do a video on planning and how to use resources, specifically for leveling and gearing in this new meta. There's been a ton of things that have changed recently. The level 95 cap, not having to do things with the horseman team anymore once we have them where we need them level and gear wise. And then the new meta that seems to be coming with the announcement of Quicksilver being similar to Silver Surfer, and how much that changed the meta. So it just feels like things are really changing right now. And I wanted to let you guys know how I'm going to adjust my strategy to try and do this. I will talk about the Masters of Evil event and touch on that at the end. I'm happier right now about it after a reward came out for it today, based on if you bought that milestone and had the air. So I'm going to touch on that as well. So just a reminder, when I'm powering up my roster, the priorities I focus on, arena teams first. I think right now my horsemen, the other characters I'm using in arena is fine. Do have my eye on 2099, making sure that slow lands specifically on everyone. And if I start to see that changing as people get up to level 95, I will make sure to power up 2099. After arena teams, making sure the raid teams are big enough. Try and make sure I'm not chasing anything. I don't go too far back. I'm still focusing on the newer tunes. And then again, prioritizing where you play the most. For me, that's War and Crucible. But whatever your priorities are in the game is where you should focus. So first off, for this conversation, would definitely be remiss to not talk about the Apocalypse team. So getting these guys to level 85 and T16 especially, but I have mine mainly to level 90, T16 and T17 where I can. It's definitely still the top priority. Apocalypse should be out, I'd assume, within the next month, being in the game now. But he's coming soon, and we've put all this work into this for almost a year. So making sure I do everything I can with my Blue ISO 4, getting them all to T16, and then getting them to the levels I want them, which for me is pretty high, level 90 at this point, is still the first priority right now. So that kind of overrides everything else I'm going to talk about, but did want to make sure that was on everyone's radar. If not, wake up. Where have you been the past year? So we'll go to the next slide. So I talked about this in previous videos, but I take a what I call it above the line and below the line approach when I'm looking at who I'm going to prioritize for level and gear. So this picture here shows the teams. It's in sequential order of when they've been released on my roster, and these are all the teams that I consider above the line. So I drew that line below Gamma, and for the most part, I will not invest below that line. So on this team specifically, thinking that it is going to be a new meta going forward, starting with Masters of Evil, based on the level cap increase, I am going to try and start getting every new character up to level 90 and up to T16. So I think the level 90 will be sustainable with what I'm seeing from gold right now, and a big part of that's not buying the teal pieces in the supply store. It's definitely gotten me a lot more gold. But I'm going to try and do that going forward. I hope that T16 I can sustain. I'm still not getting a ton of teal gear. We're doing Doom 3.3 still, my alliance, and I know that's a big source of that daily teal gear. But I'm going to try and get everyone to level 90 and see how it goes. So below that, the Death Seed team, I'm happy with them because they're horsemen. I have them all T16, have my Archangel T17. Basically, they're all level 90. I think Psylocke maybe 95. Not in a huge hurry to change that until I can T17 her. But overall, they're doing everything I need in the raids I'm at. I do use them in Crucible and War, so there is value to bringing them higher, but they're already at my target of the level 90, so really not going to touch them. Rebirth, for now I'm going to keep at level 85, even though they are below the line, because they're doing what I need them to do, and that's my rule for raid team. They are pretty good and valuable in Crucible more, so if that continues, I might try and put a little more into them, especially into Agent Venom, with him being the biggest damager on the team, then also maybe into Winter Soldier as well. Not sure if those are the best investments, but if I touch them, that's what I'm going to do. War Dogs are the next team on there because of how useful they still are in Crucible and War. Definitely going to look to prioritize getting all them to level 90. I do have them at T16, as you can see. But once I get the higher priorities and the best characters up to 91, which is level I'm at right now, they will be the next ones I work on to get to 90. And I'll say especially Nakia, Black Panther, and Black Panther 1 million. I think those 3 out of the 5 are the ones that are really worth putting the resources in and trying to have be a little bigger on that team. Next is Hella and Zombie Iron Man. So Zombie Iron Man I probably won't touch. He's doing what I need him to do. Would love to have him big, but just nowhere close to my priority right now. I will probably take Hella up as I maximize the levels, so up to 91 here soon, and then 92, etc., until I hit 95. Next team, even though they're above the line, Underworld, I'm really not going to invest in them except for Taskmaster and then probably Mr. Negative as well. But the other three, Green Goblin, Nobu, and Kingpin, are all level 75 T14. And it probably keeps me from doing huge punch-ups on Darkhold teams in War, and there's some limitations, but for the most part, they still do exactly what I want them to do. I usually use them to take out in War a Dormammu, and then maybe Eternals, or Doom with that, or the Weavers with that, some type of tough Dormammu combo that they can really take out well. And then lastly is Gamma. War is my favorite mode. They're still the ultimate war team. They aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. So I do think it's still worth investing into Gamma. I have them all at level 90. They're the team I have the furthest on teal gear to T17, and definitely who I plan to get there first. And just really think they're worth still investing in. So considering taking Red Hawk to 7 Red Star, I know it's pretty expensive. I don't have that many dark promos yet, but I'm probably going to save for a while, make sure a new character doesn't come out that needs them. But if I do hit that 4,500, since I already have him 6 star, he's definitely someone I'm considering taking to that 7 star, being the best character in the game currently. So looking at the next teams that came out, again in sequential order, so Bionic Avengers here is right below Gamma. So these are teams that are below the line. I'm really not going to touch these at all, except probably the Horseman teams, Unlimited and Darkhold, just because of how valuable they are still in all game modes. But overall, again, not going to touch anyone below the line. I'm not going to chase. My A-Force are built fairly well, but if they weren't, I probably wouldn't work on them right now, even though I know they're still great, especially in War. But again, I don't want to chase. I want to focus going forward, so I'm not touching these teams. When we get to Doom 3.5, if I need to power up the Bionic Avengers more, then I will. But for now, they're doing exactly what I need them to do in raids, so they are not on my radar at all. So looking at the overall strategy here, saving up gold like I have been, one of the things that affords me, as soon as I get to the next level, I can take up all my best toons there. So I just hit level 91, so I'm immediately taking up my Horsemen, my Gamma team, because again, they're my favorite. Characters like Gambit, Taskmaster, Weaver, Kang, Kestrel, Dormammu, Icarus, I think all worth taking up to that maximum level right now, so I'll do the same when I hit 92. Etc. Once I have that, again, I'm focusing on getting any new teams starting at Masters of Evil to level 90 as well as T16. Once I have that, I'm going to work on my above the line strategy I discussed earlier. So mainly for me, that'll be getting War Dogs to 90 right now. And then if I still have extra resources after that, before I hit 92, I'll start working on some of the other teams on there as well. May put a little more into the Tangle Web team. So number 4, get other power toons to level 90. So once I have my above the lines where I want them, I'll go back and look at some of the older toons that still have incredible value in most game modes. Stuff like Omega Red, Shang-Chi, Hela, Agent Venom, and maybe Doom. And Doom, it'll depend on if I need him or not. Right now, mine's not getting one shot. If I do still use him against the Gamma team in Crucible, and in general, he's doing what I need. So not working on him right now, but if that ever changes, he'd quickly be one I'd power up because of how valuable he is. So after that, I just make sure to save my resources, mainly so that when I hit that next level cap, I can take my guys up to that level right away. And then I think the last thing is trying to be ready to adapt based on performance. So a really good team right now is Infinity Watch, and you probably saw they're so old they weren't even on my below the line list on here. Mine are all still level 85 and gear tier 15, so I haven't taken any of them to the teal gear or up to level 90. They're probably worth it. They're still amazing in all game modes, but they're doing what I want. I'm able to take out any of the Death Seed counters I need to, any of the mirror matches. They're doing what I need to against the Underworld teams sometimes in Crucible. So at this point, if they're doing what I want, I don't see any reason to invest in them, even though they're still a great team. But again, I'll adapt. If that changes and they're still a great team, but once everyone has level 95, if my level 85 Infinity Watch aren't cutting anymore, then I might bring them up to 90 or do something there to make them better. 2099 I mentioned earlier, but mainly for Arena. If his speed down stops landing, I will definitely make him bigger. And then even Masters of Evil, they're the first team I'm trying to really take to 90 T16 besides the Horseman teams. And so I want to make sure they're doing what I want for that investment. And so if for some reason they aren't able to counter a team in Crucible, or I'm not sure what's going to happen on defense, I know the mirror match is supposedly pretty easy with Kang's speed ability. But just if I see any signs they aren't doing what I expect, which is basically to be the top Crucible team for me right now, then I will keep putting more resources into them. So if you watched my last video, did want to address the elephant in the room here, in the fear of missing out with the Masters of Evil team. And this actually changed recently today, made me a little more happy about it. So I did go ahead and buy Kang. Like I said in my last video, I was really pissed off with what was going on. I didn't want to change how I played this game, and that is buying one of the first of each of the new characters. So I did buy Kang, especially with how powerful he is, how good he's going to be. This new Kang Hunt event for free-to-play people is garbage. I will be able to get a little bit out of it, and it is a nice little side bonus, but to not even have any, just like a small amount of basic orb fragments or a small amount of gold in that first practice mode or whatever they call it, training mode, just seemed ridiculous for it coming out before the Kang event started. So do think there's some right to be angry with that there. But overall, Kang will be coming out before that's over, so you still will be able to hopefully get at least the medium level rewards, that extra teal gear, if not some of the quantum rewards. So I still am trying to get all the Masters of Evil to 5-star, assuming it hasn't been announced, but with my presumption that that's what's going to be needed for the next legendary. And also I want them big for Crucible, and I want them to kick ass in there, so still trying to get them all to 5-star. I did recently burn all my cores that I had. It was about close to 7,500. I basically used them all on the Kang shards with his orb, and then to get those Absorbing Man and Titania shards in the event. So that'll help me get them all to 5-star. Had decent luck on Kane. I got a 12. I got a couple 10s. So nothing great, but it was better than probably what the average was. So can't complain there. And then if you guys haven't seen, I did want to show this picture here, something I got in my mail today. So this says event issue resolved. Doesn't, describe what event, but obviously those are the rewards from some of the later milestones in the Absorbing Man event. So it looks like they basically gave the award that were in the second and third to last milestones, not the last one that had the 50 Absorbing Man shards and the T14s in there. But they did end up giving me 30 Absorbing Man shards, the blue ISO 4 that I would have missed on the second to last milestone, those Mystic Gear pieces, had red, teal catalyst, focus catalyst is so valuable right now. So I was thrilled to see this from the messages I got from support. They basically said there was nothing else that could be done. No more compensation was coming out. So we did get the orbs back if you bought that milestone that had the bug. So I got the cores back. So I did get my 3,000 cores back. And then this was something. Again, it wasn't what I would have gotten fully, but getting the cores back. And then this I felt was them trying to make it right. And that's one of the things that was so bad about this. We did things based on their messaging and their word, and it was really the first time that situation occurred that they didn't fix it. So this is them fixing it, in my opinion. It's not perfect. I wish I could have gotten what I intended to buy. Would have been a lot less stressful for me. But overall, I do think this is a way to try and make it right for the players. Hopefully you guys that bought this bug got something similar. I don't know exactly how they did this, if it was the same for everyone. But at this point, I do feel like that is right for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm actually getting ready to go on vacation, so I won't have another new video out for a week. But with as much as things are changing, I did just want to talk through my strategy a little more there. I do hope in the future I'm going to try and get some new software, try and get these videos to be a little more creative and have a little more pizzazz to them, and really try and wow you guys with things. So keep an eye out on that. I'll also be working on my next Clockwatch video, the tribute to Philosopher there for those who liked his stock watch and trying to do something similar. So I'll have that coming out here in about a week and a half. So as always, I give you my word that this is the best advice I have. All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Peace.